Has photography changed your life in any way? For me, it has. It changed my perspective on life and how I live differently and how I enjoy my life more after learning photography. You see, I wasn't always interested in photography or using a camera, learning about ISO, aperture, shutter speed, or anything like that. I just like looking at good photos. But by chance or by luck, I once looked at an HDR photo and I really enjoyed the dynamic range and the contrast between the highlights and shadows and the vivid colors. So I got into HDR photography or high dynamic range photography. Of course, I had to learn how to merge bracketed photos. So I had to learn how to use photomatics and then start using Lightroom and Photoshop to fine tune my editing. But that's the editing part. When I needed to actually go out and take photos, I needed to either wake up early or go out late at night, maybe in the evening actually. It depends where you live, especially if you live really far north or really far south. Your sunsets and sunrises could be at different times. And of course, I always sometimes arrived too early for the sunset or sunrise, and I had to wait until the twilight hours come, where the magenta and the orange and red hues come in the sky, and I set up my camera to take my bracketed photos. But while I'm waiting for the perfect time, or maybe making the perfect time to make a photo, photography improved my patience. It allowed me to wait and not hurry my life and just try to enjoy each moment. By having more patience, it changed my perspective on life. Don't live life like it's a rat race. You need to live every moment, and just in case you don't wake up the next day, you want to live in the moment and just enjoy the present time. And of course, while I was doing HDR photography and just taking landscapes and just waiting for the perfect time or making the perfect time with a little bit of patience, I decided I needed to explore a little bit more. And just taking photos in my local hometown of Toronto was limiting. So photography brought in travel into my life. I actually didn't have the travel bug like most people. I didn't have a big desire to travel the world and take photos or anything along those lines. Of course, I did want to visit the Galapagos Islands because I saw the Galapagos Islands on National Geographic or any other nature documentary about the endemic animals, natural selection, Charles Darwin, and so forth. So the Enchanted Islands always fascinated me. Luckily, I did have the opportunity to visit the Galapagos Islands a few times and photograph there. But one of the main reasons I even went to the Galapagos or even started traveling the world is because of photography. My camera kind of led the way for me to take more photos and led me in a direction to different locations and different places. And it changed my perspective of how people live differently, how sometimes the poorest people could also be the happiest people, or less is more, trying to live a more minimalistic life. Of course, it's hard living a minimalistic life if you're a travel photographer, because you have all this gear or digital nomad gear. Besides the patience that photography gave me and the encouragement to travel, it also provided me with a mindful observation of my surroundings. And what I mean by that is I can be walking down the street and then I can just see a tree with some flowers blooming, and it allowed me to enjoy the moment and just appreciate how beautiful life is. And just remember, life is precious. Sometimes it does have its downers, but it's precious. And photography gave me this mindful observation of just seeing what's around me, how things are working, and just try to see the beauty in everything instead of the negativity. And what about for you guys? Did photography change your life? I know for some people it's their business, their career. For me, it was always HDR photography and landscape photography. Now I do a little bit more travel and bird photography. But what about for you guys? How has photography changed your life? Do you explore more? Do you take photos of your family more, or maybe even of your pets? And anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, you know what to do. And as always, live easy, sleep breezy, and stay lovely.